We've been waiting for you. So my message today is about spring cleaning, springtime. So we're going to talk about spring cleaning. And it's also Earth Day, or yesterday was Earth Day. And so my talk today is going to be very focused on Earth Day and what we can do to clean up our environment. And our environment is everything, including ourselves. So here at the Satya Center, we like to focus on not only transforming the outer environment, but we believe that we need to transform our inner environment before it really takes hold on the outside. So that's what we're going to be looking at. I have been studying for my talk today a couple of wonderful teachers. There's a scientist in Canada called Dr. David Suzuki. Has anyone heard of Dr. David Suzuki? A few people. Wonderful scientist. He's 81 now, and so he's an elder. He's an elder, and he's been around for 81 years. So I'm going to be leaning on some of his wisdom, and then at the end of my talk, we're going to go through a process, an inner journey, where we can explore some ways that maybe we can do some cleaning up of our own on the inside that will have a positive reflection on the outside in our outside environment. So Earth Day is a day to learn more about the environment and what you can do to help protect it, while saving the planet won't rely on solely one person's actions, but rather on the participation of an entire world population. There are still ways that you can do your part. Recycle plastics, metals, cardboards, don't run excess water, turn off lights when you're not using them, never litter, use reusable bags when you go shopping, and compost your food scraps. These are just some of the ways you can have a positive influence on your environment. Are we all doing that? Yes. Somewhat. We remember sometimes, but it's good to have a reminder. And so I'm taking today as an opportunity to remind all of us, including myself, of these simple things that we can do to make a difference. Now, yesterday there was an interesting march for science. Did anyone hear about that? Now, it seems like things have been stirred up a bit over the last few months. Let's say since November. That was just silly, but stirred up over the last few months. And I am looking at this time as an amazing opportunity for us to really open our eyes. Some of us have really opened our eyes lately, at what's going on. And a time for us to really examine what we're doing in our lives and what we can do to help make a difference. And so I felt really inspired when the women marched. And I must admit, I did participate in a couple of those women's marches. Yeah. I've never done that before in my life, and so that was something new for me. But I wore one of the hats. I don't know if you saw those special hats, those pink hats, no? Well, yesterday, the scientists, they had their own form of the hats. Did you see those? Their brains. They were like brain hats that I thought was really cute. I made my hat for the Women's March. I don't think I'm quite talented enough to do that brain one. That was a million. And what the scientists were marching for was to underscore and to emphasize the importance of science. The importance that the scientists bring to us as a humanity, so we can see, what's going on in our environment and what can we do to make a difference. And without our scientists, where would we be? And I think that's a bit of there was a little bit of fear lately based on the fact that maybe we won't be supporting science as much. And so I think it's very important that we, all of us, whatever walk of life we come from, whatever our passion is, that we stand up and start to take some action in our lives so that we can have a positive effect. And you're probably wondering why are we talking about all this at a spiritual service on Sunday? Why? Well, we believe here in Science of Mind that there's only one thing happening, that we're all connected. This one life, this one world is all part of our life, our world. And we are a part of nature. Human beings are a part of the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom. And so I want to share some thoughts for you about this, the fact that we are all connected and what that really means. And by the way, the March on Science wasn't just here in America. It was all around the globe. There were over, I think, either 400 or 600 major marches around the world, even in the North Pole. I thought that was really sweet. There was a few people marching in the North Pole. So, Ernest Holmes, the author of The Science of Mind, says, "We are so one with the whole that what is true of it is also true for us." So when we realize that we are so interconnected with nature, with the earth, with the water, with everything, it makes sense that we pay particular attention to the choices we're making, to what we're doing, and so that we can make sure that future generations have the same luxuries that we have, the same resources that we have. So what is life? We're all made up of the same stuff. We're all relatives. And I'm talking about trees, the plants, the water, the air, everything we know, everything we see, everything we experience. We're all part of this. We're all made of this. Those things out there, the oil and the water and the plants and the food and the soil and everything is connected to us. We're all one system. They're not just resources. They're for us to nurture and to grow and to make sure that we don't deplete. And so it's for us, the human beings, the ones that have got conscious awareness of ourselves, the part of nature that has evolved to the degree that we can think about things and we can use our mind to make conscious choices about our own evolution. The trees and the animals don't seem to have that same capacity as we. So we as human beings, we don't have dominion over nature, but we have a responsibility to make sure that what we're doing as the species that seems to be having the biggest impact, the biggest negative impact on our world, we have a responsibility to use this wonderful thing that each of us have, called our imagination, called our mind, to actually think of a future that we would like. Because up till now, we haven't really done that. We as humans, we've studied what is, as scientists, we've studied what's out there, what is, but we haven't really studied the future. We haven't really put a lot of emphasis in looking at our future. And what I know is if we don't have a vision for where we're going, we're just pushed by the pain that we're experiencing. And I think that's where we are right now. We as a species are experiencing some discomfort and pain because we're not honoring our natural environment. We're not caring for the land. we're using up our resources, and as we just use and consume without any thought about how long this will last, we are ensuring that our species, many of our species here that we currently experience, won't survive. The talk gets better. I know that you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is so negative. But hopefully you're not feeling that way. Is this helpful? Yeah. Inspired about this? Yeah. Okay, good. So keep this. So Dr. Suzuki says, in an act of incredible generosity, the web of living things, our relatives, create, cleanse, and replenish most of the fundamental needs that we have as animals. There's a great generosity that nature has, that we have, because we're a part of that nature, to take care and to replenish and make sure that there's resources for us and for future generations. So why can't we be more like nature? Why can't we be more like every other living system? Why can't we create a better use of our resources? Well, I watched many documentaries this week on sustainable farming, on all kinds of things like that. We have so many opportunities to take what we know, to take what our scientists have told us, to be able to create a proper, sustainable environment so that we can create a life for our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. You know, in a lot of the indigenous Native American customs, are really focused on making sure that everything that they do in their communities has a positive impact, not only for today, but for 7 generations. What if we adopted that same mindset? Whatever we're doing within our industry, within our factories, within all of our systems, with all of our systems that we have in place, education, in all of our infrastructure, what if we looked at every decision we made was of high consciousness? Every decision we made looked at the whole web of life. Before we made any decisions moving forward, we would ask, how does this impact our children? How does this impact the trees? How does this impact our rivers? How does this impact our air? How does this impact us? And we made decisions, conscious decisions. Why is this important? So we can continue enjoying the life that we have. Not only continue enjoying it, but actually develop systems that promote even more joy and peace. Because have you noticed what we've created now? Because if you look out at humanity around the globe, what we've created now is just an outpicturing of what's going on in here, across the board. So the outer turmoil we're experiencing in Syria and other countries, there's famines going on right now. I think there's 5 major famines that our humanity is experiencing right now. Why is this all going on? It's an outer reflection of what's going on in the minds of men and women. The conflicts, the arguments, all of the stuff that's happening. So if we can clean up our own minds, do a little spring cleaning, get out your little feather duster and clean out your own mind. How do we do that? And we get into that in a minute. So what is our role? Our species, us, single-handedly are altering this planet. We have become a force of nature. There is no environment out there, and we are in here. We are the environment. We boast that we are an intelligent animal. What intelligent creature knowingly affects the air, the water, the soil, and the photosynthesis and the biodiversity? What knowing animal, creature would influence these to the negative deliberately, and then so thoughtlessly pour our most toxic chemicals on all of our elements and destroy our ecosystems and habitats and drive species into extinction, as if our God-given right is to do that and it won't affect us. It's amazing, really, and I don't want to stay stuck in this place of beating ourselves up for this. But what I've noticed over the course of the past 13.4 billion years, yes, I've been around for that, there seems to be, if we believe in the theory of the Big Bang, let's just believe that for a moment, there was a Big Bang. And ever since then, there's been this evolution that's been taking place. And in essence, we're still experiencing this movement of energy that we call the Big Bang. So we're on this evolutionary spiral into the future, into where we are right now, 2017. So in essence, we're at the edge of this Big Bang. We're the leading edge of evolution. So the Big Bang is still banging, and we're in it. So here we are at the leading edge of evolution, and we get to make a choice. We get to wake up right now, and I think we're in this amazing amount of chaos, which is always the precursor to great significant change. So this is the good news. Every significant evolutionary leap forward from when man first started being present on our earth, every time there was a leap from Cro-Magnon to all of those different Homo sapien, sapien, all of those different forms of early man, every time there seemed to be an amount of chaos before that significant leap forward took place. So I say that this time, with the war, with the famine, with us logging and doing deforestation and polluting our waters, that there's acres upon acres of plastic floating around in our ocean that has, what do we do about that? There's part of our bodies, I forget the percentage, but we have something like several ounces of dissolved plastics in our bodies. So here we are in this chaos, in this time, and people are rising up, like the scientists, the mad scientists. I saw some of them with signs saying, I'm not just a mad scientist, I'm a furious scientist. And they're saying, it's time, we need to invest, we need to speak up, and we need to be looking at what we're doing so that we can make this evolutionary leap. They're not saying this, I'm saying this. Make this evolutionary leap in consciousness. And I believe, because I'm someone that studies the spiritual path, I believe this is a spiritual leap forward in consciousness, that we, as beings, are being prompted, are being inspired to make. So what does it mean? It means that we as individuals are waking up. We're waking up to become more of who we really are as divine beings. Yes, we're this physical being. Yes, we have an amazing mind. But we're more than the mind and the body. We're that which has a mind and a body. We're a spiritual being. We're a mysterious being. We don't know what that invisible substance that we are is. But I think that the prompting that you have, if you're here today, that you have to be here, or the prompting you have to read those spiritual books you read, or those self-help books, or maybe you're doing yoga. Come join me tonight, old Lyle and old Allie, doing yoga. We're being inspired by these things to explore who we are, not just in the physical, but on the spiritual side of things. And we have this yearning to know more about who we are. We're coming together in spiritual communities because we have this urge. And I believe this urge was burst forth at that Big Bang, this primal urge to evolve, to create, and to become conscious of ourselves. We are the universe made conscious. We are the way that the stars look back at themselves. We are stardust, we're amazing, and we have the ability to use our consciousness to make some really wise decisions moving forward. Like Gandhi said, to be the change we wish to see in the world. We've had ancient seers and sages that have been prompting us over the last several thousand years, 3,000, when was the Buddha alive? 3,000 years ago, 2,000 something? These people came to earth with this message of, wake up, wake up. So now's the time for us to wake up to who we really are and to use our God-given gifts, our mind, our decision-making, and to make choices. So I want to share some wisdom from Dr. Suzuki. And this is a vision he has for us. And so here at the Satya Center, we emphasize visioning. It's a very powerful tool that we as human beings can do and can implement. And so all this means is we close our eyes and get comfortable and we start to vision our future. And we believe that envisioning what it is we want to experience in a very deliberate way, that somehow that's planting a seed in the fertile soil of the invisible mind that responds to us all the time, talking about the law of attraction here. So we use this capacity to use our imagination to envision what we want, and then we intentionally plant that in mind, and then we allow that to be our directional compass. And so once we do this, once we've established a vision, then our job now, today, is to make sure that all of our thoughts, all of our words, and all of our actions, and all of our emotions align with that vision. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is what I call conscious living, or intentional living. And so what gets in the way or hinders us from making this a successful practice is when doubt or fear or uncertainty or criticism or distrust or indifference sneak in. And I think that is what we've experienced here globally, kind of this global indifference. And so we're now this morning intentionally going to set ourselves on track for what we want to see for our future. You on board with that? Mm-hmm. So that we're waking up and we're making a difference. And I know that after this, you're going to feel a sense, you're going to be more alerted. You're going to activate this deep longing and this capacity to be alerted to what you can do to actually go out there and make a difference in your community, and in your family, and in your world. Okay? Okay. All right. So sit back, relax, and close your eyes. Tune in to your body, and let's give thanks to our bodies. How blessed are we to have this amazing body. Wow. If that Big Bang and the speed of evolution hadn't happened just in a certain particular way, we wouldn't even be here. The mystery and the magic and the symphony of events that took place, that continue to take place, is perfect for us as a species to be here. So give thanks for the mystery of all of it. How grateful are you? How grateful am I to have this body, to have this earth planet, this one wonderful, diverse environment. Our bodies are made of water. Our bodies are made from the plants that receive the nutrients from the soil, that are fed by the sun and the earth and the animals and the everything. We're one living, biodiverse ecosystem. Let's give thanks for not only ourselves, but every element that allows us to live and breathe and move. How blessed are we? So as you relax into this knowing and you open up your heart, a vision is always born most abundantly through an open heart. So bring your awareness to your heart center and all of those things that you're grateful for. All of those loved ones that you have in your life. All of your animal companions. All of the things that you do, that you love to do. All of the things you love to create. All of the experiences that light you up, and give thanks. So now we're going to cast a vision into the future and imagine yourself living a year from now. What would your life look like if everything was rich and abundant? Everything was beautiful. That you have healthy, clean food. Imagine right now that you slow down, the pace of your life is slowed down so you can really connect with other people. And think about your relatives, your grandchildren, your children, your great-grandchildren. And think about what we're leaving them. What we're leaving them. Imagine your future. Imagine all of the wonderful things you'll be involved in. Give thanks for your ability to imagine. Imagine a world where we live, work, and play in the same area. Maybe we don't even need cars in the future. Now we extend this vision even further into the future. Imagine where streets and houses and roads all have the ability to trap every bit of sunlight that falls upon it and convert it into electricity. Imagine every roof capturing water and growing food. Imagine our cities growing orchards of fruit and nut trees and community gardens so that we can celebrate the seasons with delicious seasonal harvests. Imagine extracting heat from the earth in the winter and putting heat back down into the earth in the summer. Imagine cancer and asthma rates plummeting because we no longer put toxic chemicals into our earth, air, water, and surroundings. Imagine zero production of waste because we design industrial systems like nature, where one species' waste is another species' opportunity. Imagine drinking the water out of any river or lake. Imagine eating meat and fish without worrying about the chemicals and hormone levels. Imagine rich forests that can be logged forever because we're logging them the right way. Imagine lighter than airships that transport massive payloads at very little emissions. Taking tourists on wonderful trips across the earth at a speed that makes earth sense. And imagine an economy that is in balance with nature's productive capacity. Imagine a world that works for all. Imagine a world where people are accepted, appreciated, and empowered. Let us dream that. Let us dream what is possible. Let us come together and work towards that dream. And then let us show what we are truly capable of as a species. Today we can begin to look ahead and imagine a new way of living in harmony and balance. with all. So just hold that vision in your heart for a moment. I know that within you there is a movement of energy right now. You've activated your imagination. You've cast a vision for the future. And now you have the energy within yourself to align the thoughts you think in positive ways, innovative ways, surrounding yourself with people of like mind that inspire new conversations about what we can do in our homes and in our families to create this one living planet as a place friendly, vibrant with life, sustained, thriving. So let us give thanks that we have used our amazing power of our imagination, our amazing power of our word. We have spoken our word out loud through our thoughts, out into reality, and the universe mirrors back to us that which we claim in heart. It says in the sacred text, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As we think in our heart, as we hold our dearest longings and desires in our hearts, and then we move our feet in the direction of that vision, we become conscious co-creators, and then we have a world that works for all. For this we are blessed, for this activation of energy, for this new integration of wisdom and knowledge and intention. We give thanks. We give thanks for our life and everything that we enjoy here on planet Earth. We give thanks, and we just simply let these words go, because what I know is that the prayer and the answer are one. The prayer and the answer are one. The intention and the demonstration are connected. We've activated something. For this we give thanks. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And for that, Satya says we've received something. And so it's a very physical act. We're acknowledging for ourselves that we've just received something. So thank you for that. Okay, so we have in our program, this is our time of offering. We always pass the basket here. We are a non-profit organization that survives on donations. And so what we affirm here during this time of our offering is that we're not just affirming that it's nice to give to the Satya Center. What we're also doing is we're affirming what is our source and supply. So as spiritual beings having this human experience, the source of our supply is God, is the divine, is this amazing planet that we live in. So we acknowledge this supply by giving. And in that giving, we then receive. So it's in the giving that we receive. So if you will, with me, read the blessing of the offering. Joyfully I give with gratitude, for I know that as I give, I am given. I allow the abundant nature of the universe to flow through me now. I am so blessed, and so it